Hello everybody, it's me Joel C, back at it again with another makeup tutorial for you all. And today we're going to be using the 18A Blew Ya Away palette by Morphe Brushes. So without further ado, subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you can be notified of anything I do upload in future, because you'll want to see that. You won't want to miss any of those. Alright, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is prime the eyelid with a dry Morphe X Jeffree Star Sponge and my P. Louise base in Rumor Zero. This is literally going to be pure white right on the lid because, as I mentioned in my previous video, I do like my pigments to show up exactly like they do in the pan. No excuses. So I apply some of that base right onto the dry sponge and I put it right onto the eyelid, making sure that I get right in there, all nooks and crannies, and also bring it under the eye. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but I assure you, as always, there's a method to my madness. I know I look real crazy right now, so just hold on, hold on. All right, so the first shade I'm gonna be dipping into in the palette is gonna be Applause, which is this gorgeous little muted shade. It's kind of flesh tone. I'm gonna just put a wash right underneath the brow and then a little bit underneath the eye as well. Just kind of circle around it, almost like haloing around the eye. We're just gonna start by washing this area out. You can see it's almost like a grayish flesh tone, you know, it just helps kind of start to carve out the eye shape. By the way, to apply this, I am using a Morphe M518, in case anybody's wondering. Now with a Morphe M514, I'm gonna go into the shade Swagger. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start deepening out the crease. And as you can see, I'm just diffusing as I go along and apply pigment. You know, sometimes just going back and forth, windshield wipering kind of, and then at other moments going ahead into circular motions gently and kind of scratching away at that harsh line that kind of gets created when you put a new shade down. And it just helps diffuse it little by little. And sometimes you'll have to go back and forth between shades just to kind of make sure that that blend is just more and more seamless, depending on your level of OCD, obviously. The reason that I say to be gentle when applying, you know, the transition shades and blending is because if you're too harsh, you can actually go ahead and pull, you know, your base that you're using to keep that pigment on. You can accidentally pull that off, and that's no fun. Nobody wants to obviously go back and forth on steps, reapply things that they don't feel like they need to reapply. I mean, that's just no fun. Also gonna bring this right under the eye as well. But you'll see I stop it above the first base color because it's all about creating shadows and playing off of how light bounces off the face. It's almost like contouring your eye. I mean, that's exactly what you're doing. The reason I changed brushes, obviously, is because this one is a smaller, fluffier brush, so it allows for blending to kind of happen at the same time that you're laying down pigments, which is awesome. Now with another M514 Morphe brush, I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the shade So Dazzlin', which is like a very dark plum shade, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply that to even deepen the crease further. I'm gonna start out here as a way of just really deepening out the socket and then slowly bringing that forward. So it's time to cut the crease now that I've gone ahead and just smoked out the eye area with its base colors. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut that crease using the P. Louise and Mama Mitchell Acid Rain in Blank Canvas. And this is a waxier consistency than the original base I put on, and that's gonna really help cut out that crease. And to cut that crease, I'm gonna use a Morphe M224 brush, which is this kind of chisel tip. It's obviously super gunked up already with all the cut creases I do. I tend to like my brushes like that a little bit, only because it helps really cut out that shape. I stamp out that cut crease, and then that allows a very clean cut crease to take effect, because that's obviously the beautiful and alluring factor of a cut crease, is that you kind of get to open up your eye a little bit, but also that just pristine cutout that you can do that just makes it look like it's taking your makeup to another level. Always make sure to keep your eye open as you're cutting your crease, You want to make sure that when you're looking straight ahead and that you're making eye contact with people, they're getting to appreciate all the hard work you've done. People with hooded eyes obviously have a bit more difficulty showing off eye looks because of that. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and slowly just carve that out and bring it up high. Don't be afraid to experiment and bring that up higher and higher. Obviously, I would avoid touching your brow, but get as close as you can that you don't compromise your blend and still go ahead and get that cut crease in there to bring that elevation, like I said, to your eye looks. So once you've gone ahead and cut that general shape out, make sure that you go ahead and kind of diffuse the edge of this a little bit so that you have an easier time bringing in your shade that you're going to transition your cut crease back into. Alright, so now I'm going to go into the shade Celeb Status. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that actually with my finger. With the Morphe M60 1/8, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get the edge of that cut crease. And with the Morphe 167, I'm just going to make sure that we get a good amount of pigment on there. And don't worry, we're going to blend this in. Now with the Morphe M224, I'm going to go into the shade Preview. Now with the Morphe M167 that I used to put on the shade Celeb Status, I'm going to now slowly blend that in. With a Morphe M506, I'm going to go into the shade Sold Out. And I'm going to use that to go ahead and diffuse this harsh line here. And then just go back in there and reinforce Celeb Status as you need to. And as you can see, that's way smoother now going back and forth. We're also going to use that M224 that we applied the shade Preview with into the brow bone area. I'm also going to take more of that Sold Out shade and put it underneath the waterline. Now with the Morphe M562, I'm going to go ahead and just further try and deepen out the area above the cut crease so that it has contrast against itself. Now with the Morphe E36, I'm going to go into the shade Opening Act, and I am going to lay that down as my inner corner shade. Alright everybody, now that I've gone ahead and completed that eye, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, pop some lashes, base, contour, and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, and now that I've gone ahead and laid down my base and my contour and popped some lashes on as well, I'm going to go ahead and with some blush now, and I'm using the Morphe Blush Trio Pop of Fuchsia, and I'm going to be using the shade Edgy. Alright, now I'm going to go in for some highlight, and for that I'm going to use a Morphe M510. It's a nice large fluffy brush, and I'm going to be using Morphe's highlighter palette. I'm going to be using the shade Extra. Again, we're focusing that on the high planes of the face only. You know, we want to actually make it look like you're reflecting light out of the places you do actually reflect light off of. You should literally only be focusing this in the areas that you know reflect light from a third person view. I like this palette because it does have a mix of, sizes for the pigments themselves. Obviously some highlighters can be more chunky or thicker in consistency when it comes to the gauge of the glitters or the micas, and then others are finer. Obviously the finer something is, it'll probably go ahead and show a little bit more texture, but it'll also look a bit more natural in terms of how light bounces off of it and it looking like you're actually, you know, those are the oils of your own skin, so to speak. And last but not least, I'm going to go in with the Morphe lip gloss in the shade Freestyle. I love that shade because it is so close to my natural lip color. It almost looks like I'm just wearing like lip balm. I love it. And of course, last but not least, we gotta go in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I mean, would this even be a complete face without it? I mean, let's be real. I got a couple direct messages, by the way, asking me where I got my, you know, fan at. Just so you know, that actually I found in a street vendor when I was out in downtown Los Angeles. So by all means, I would just say if you see it somewhere, grab it, or maybe someplace will custom make it for you. So either which way, that's where I got it from. All right, everybody, and now there you have it. This is the completed look using the 18A, blew you away. Did a little cut crease moment. Obviously, we improvised as that went along, so I had no idea what I was doing going into it, but Morphe never disappoints with their pigmentation, in my opinion. So without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well at It's Me Joel C, and I hope to catch you guys next week.